All right. So here's the deal. What I would love to do with you guys, let me get my notes out, is, it's not going to be this like massive, hypey, like 400 person Super Saturday like Jessica did this past year. Although Jessica and I are going to do the same thing in the spring, next year. And she wants me to run it. But this is what I'm thinking. I'm doing this in West Virginia, and I'm going to propose this to you guys. My thoughts were, it's going to be more like a business opportunity. It's going to be like a Super Saturday, but pared down. It's not going to be as huge. What I really want to do is create a venue for you guys to funnel in your prospects, but also funnel in your new team. Because I want it to be twofold. If I'm going to come into town and we're going to work together, I want us to maximize that time by having an opportunity meeting to bring in prospects. But I also want to do some leadership training. So my thoughts were to do something fairly central between the Triad, since we have folks in Raleigh and we have folks in Asheville. You guys are kind of in the middle. My idea, and this is what I'm doing with West Virginia with Tammy Fry's team, is the first half of the day will be like an opportunity meeting where we do some testimonies and talk about the product. And then we kind of segue into eating your food for free and the financial opportunity so that people who aren't interested in that piece can leave beforehand. And you can go ahead and enroll them if you want. I'm going to try to work with corporate on getting in a free enrollment code. But then we can segment into the afternoon and do leadership training with your teams, people that you've brought in that are interested in the business locally, or any prospects that came in to learn about the product and are intrigued about before they leave about the financial opportunity. So that's what I'm thinking. What do you guys think about that?
I think that sounds great.
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay. What's that, Laura?
That sounds good to me.
Okay, awesome. So I know Dawn Wilson, she's not going to be able to come, but I'm hoping we can what we're going to have to do is really rally the troops for recruitment within the area. So Allie, can I lean on you to kind of spearhead, kind of coming up with a list of teammates that are on the thread that I sent out, that are on this thread, but also just trying to do a temperature check on who wants to be involved in the recruitment process and participate, first of all. Like who's going to find value out of it and actually come, so we can get kind of a head count. Would you be okay to take ownership of that?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that'll help us kind of decide venue. Now the date is coming up soon. That's the thing. Like we got to start. Where's my calendar? We had decided, it's next month, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's June. What's today?
The 12th.
June 12th. And we were looking at, what's that?
July 14th.
Yeah. So we got 4 weeks. So what I'd like to do between now and next Tuesday night, so that gives us 7 days, is to really pare down location and venue, and then the agenda. And I'm going to give you guys some ideas, and I want you to kind of start brainstorming, because this is for you. This is for you guys. Hey, Greg. But I want you guys to get some face time, but I also want you to leverage some of your success stories locally. So what we're doing, I'll get to that in a second. So I'd like to agree on venue, the agenda, and by next Tuesday, I'd actually like to have an invitation out, like something designed that gives people 3 weeks to recruit for it. I'm giving us all a deadline for next Tuesday. That way we'll work towards it. I do best with deadlines.
So I did look to see where was halfway between Raleigh and Asheville. And that's a little bit on the other side of Winston. I don't know what there is in Winston as far as places.
Okay. What I would do, Allie, before deciding on Winston is do a temperature check with the Asheville folks. Like, I'm thinking Dawn Turner is really our builder out in Asheville, and she's pretty preoccupied right now. Our dad is terminally ill. So I'm not sure how involved she's going to be in recruiting for that, but it doesn't hurt. I can take the action item to circle back with her and see if there's anyone in the Asheville area that she foresees would want to come our way. Circle back with Dawn. Because here's the thing, because we want to be sensitive to that. I'm not going to bug her about it. I'm not expecting her to do any recruiting for it, but I also don't want to move our meeting out that way if there's not going to be any recruitment from that side of the state. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I mean, Greensboro and Winston are only 30 minutes apart. And there's tons, Greensboro I feel like is very central because both 40 and 85 come in.
Yeah. Yeah. Why don't we just stick with Greensboro?
Okay.
I get lost every time I break off the interstate and try to find Winston-Salem.
I don't know anything about Winston, so.
And you're more familiar with Greensboro, right?
Yeah. I took my nursing boards in Winston, and that's all I got.
Okay.
And I bought a truck in Winston. That's it. And Greg got a tattoo in Winston.
Yeah. So let's do that. So here's what I'm leaning on from you guys. And Allie, you may want to chat with Stacy about this, and you guys can brainstorm, and Laura, you as well. What we're doing in West Virginia is they're pulling some of their success stories locally who are going to come to the event to actually share their story. So it's going to be like validation, basically getting people on stage and talking about their physical internal or external transformation. Some folks like Tammy, it was more about her fibromyalgia, or for other people it's dramatic weight loss. But what happens when you use people local who kind of are giving a testimony, it creates credibility to your audience, right? And the other thing is you might want to think about is bringing people in to talk about that who may not have historically thought about the business, but you think would be pretty good at it, or you want them to kind of take a look. If you bring them in to share their story, and you open up the invitation for them to stay through the whole event, then they're going to get kind of a broad brush exposure to the opportunity too. So can you guys think off the top of your head, any success stories on your teams that you'd love to stand up and share for, 5 or 10 minutes, kind of their journey with Isagenix?
Abby would be a great one, Abby Moser, because she's lost 30-some pounds.
Okay.
And quit her second job because of Isagenix.
Okay.
The only other one that I have would be my friend Reagan, and she is a non-Hodgkin's lymphoma survivor and had chemo twice, bone marrow transplant, and just overall how she feels.
That's awesome.
She's a great testimony for that.
And what would be great is, Greg, are you going to come?
Yeah.
So we'd love to have a male testimony too. If you want to get up there and share your work after. I'm going to write you down. And Stacey and Laura, it's going to be great to hear from you guys too. I think it's going to be important that you get up and share. What's that?
Oh.
What's wrong?
She probably can't hear us.
Oh.
She's very technologically challenged.
Oh, okay. So think about that. And if you could circle back, we need to post it in the thread. Actually, I'm just going to ask Stacy to listen to this so she can come back with action items too. So Stacy, when you're listening to this, think about who you want to leverage to speak to. Yourself with your physical transformation from pregnancy, as well as your team and folks that you've recruited. So that's going to be the first half. So we can do the, have some product validation, I have some testimonies, and then we can segue through product, talk about the pillars. I can do the pillar piece. I can do what I'm going to do tomorrow night, basically, but do it face-to-face with your prospects that you recruit. And then the back end of the meeting for 2 hours, we'll do some leadership training. And that's where I want you guys to really brainstorm. What do you need? What do you need as a leader during that time? And what does your team need during that time? And I can share with you some of the stuff that we kind of noodled on with West Virginia. We talked about training folks on just the components of the 30-second story and how important it is to initiate even a conversation with people. There's people you may have some people who've had phenomenal success if they're going to speak and share, but haven't shared with anyone yet. So talking about having a concise 30-second story and coaching your team on how to make a concise 30-second story, coaching people on the step-by-step process of, you actually tagged on this the other day, Allie, the say, share, do. So how can we simplify for new people coming in? Okay, somebody's interested now. What do I do? What do I say? What do I share? What do I do? Can we break that down for them really quickly? We can walk through compensation plan. We can talk about the map to exec. I'm happy to do whatever. In West Virginia, we're gonna lean on Tammy to share, even though to this day, she's like, I don't know what I'm doing, but she enrolls like 5 to 7 people every single month. And I'm like, figure it out, because you're gonna tell everybody, right? So she's gonna talk about connecting. But so, there's different things that we can discuss, but like between now and next Tuesday night, if you guys can just think through, what is it that you need as leaders, and what is it that you think the people that you're going to bring to this need as far as leadership training goes? Make sense?
Yeah.
All right. And I'd love to meet up with you guys like Friday night for cocktails or something if you're around, or Saturday night on one end or the other, whatever's going to work best for everybody.
I'm free either one, so.
Okay, cool.
Not for me.
All right, so what are your thoughts?
I like the idea of definitely like sharing the comp plan, because I don't think that people take the time to, like, especially people who are already sharing, don't understand it and what it can be.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Even though I do have some people that do, but some people still, my mom still doesn't get it. And she'll admit it. She still doesn't know what a BD is. And how many times have I told her?
It's a weekly thing.
Oh,
it's a weekly thing.
And I do like connecting, because that's super, like, it's hard for people, and of course I'm still learning as I go, but it's hard to make the transition into not talking about isogenics into isogenics, but like making it a smooth transition.
Yeah.
Instead of just being like, hey, I do this awesome thing.
Yeah. So do you want to do, so do you, would you be interested in leading that topic, or is it something you're asking for me to talk on?
I mean, you can
I get back to you next week?
Yeah. Because you're going to talk about something. You're a leader on the team.
I mean, I think I don't have it mastered by any means, but like in the last 2 days, I've figured out the connect. What is it? Connect. Oh, complement, connect, and capture.
Yeah.
Yes. I would love for you to talk about the 3 C's. The 3 C's, Allie. And what you can do is you can share where you were and what you were doing, and how that's evolved for you. I think all of us come in so freaking tenacious about the business that we just like pounce because we want it so bad because we've got the vision, and we just scare the shit out of people around us. And then we like take a step back and start to learn that, oh, this is a business of people. Like, I do have to connect with these people before they're going to purchase anything or follow me or join me on this journey, So,
and whatever, Angelique Nori, I think, with Melissa McDonald's Super Saturday, she did another analogy, and I cannot think of it. Something about family, where they're from, something like that. A couple of different things, like to connect, like as a part of the connect part.
Right. I love it. Yeah.
I just find that.
Yeah, you can go back and use that as reference. I think that's a great idea. So connecting, comp plan, probably a funnel effect, like someone's interested, now what do I do?
Yeah. And like, I like that if we could like show them like what Tammy was talking about the other night, like step 1, step 2, step 3, or at least like point them in the direction of step 1.
Right.
Are we just talking about the leadership or something about the product, like with the prospects? I have a problem with people, like when you bring up the product, they're like, well, I don't have the money because this, that, and the other. Like, people don't understand it. It's like you're just reallocating your money to like different food. You're not eating McDonald's now, you're eating shake. Like,
right.
People don't understand that.
You make such a good point. My husband's trying to prospect this guy from Thailand. He's never prospected anyone until he went to Top Achievers with me and played with all these guys whose wives are making millions. So now he's prospecting. And so he was prospecting this guy from Thailand, and he said the same thing, Greg. He said, I don't have, $200 to my name. My husband said, well, you're eating, aren't you? And he was like, well, yeah. And he's like, well, you're spending money on food. This is what this is. Your investment in your business is the food that you're going to eat, And I would say if, people can't see past that, you need to take a step back because you probably haven't gotten to their pain point. They haven't really caught on to why they need it enough to understand or make a connection financially that they reasonably need it. Does that make sense? Like, if you can take a step back and find the pain point of, what life's going to be like if they don't move forward with this. So whether it's physical or financial, like I've got this guy who doesn't have 2 pennies to rub together. He's a gate attendant for American Airlines. He's working like 100 hours. He's like, yeah, my wife and I don't do bad. He said, between the two of us, we make about $90,000 a year. He said, the problem is we each work 80 to 100 hours a week. A week. So he works 16-hour shifts overnight because you get paid better that way. And he never sees his kids. And I said, how's that working out for you? And he's like, well, we got money, but it sucks because I never see my kids. And I said, well, let me cast a vision for you. One 16-hour shift is a double PIB on 2 value packs. You can make $450 in 10 minutes tonight on the phone if you can think of 2 friends or family members that can join you on this, So part of it is taking a step back and finding the pain point first before trying to move forward with the quote unquote sell. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have money he doesn't have any money either. He's saying he's behind on bills. They don't live in a house yet, right? That was the other thing we talked about. I said, well, what would you do with an additional $500 to $2,000 a month? What would you do with that? And he was like, I'd start paying off my debt. We'd live in a house. My kids wouldn't be in an apartment. So before we got off the phone, he got a value pack, put it on his credit card. I don't know where he got the money from, but he had a vision of what this vehicle could do for him, versus if I hadn't talked about the pain and I hadn't uncovered the hours that he was working, if I hadn't uncovered how what he would do with the money if he could succeed in the business, if we hadn't had that, spent 30 minutes talking about that, I think he would have just laughed at me saying $589 for a value pack. And he'd be like, I don't have the money for that. I don't know what you're talking about. I just can't do this. Right? Does that make sense? Yeah. So takes a little more time, but okay. So we've got some ideas. So by Allie, you and I can go back and forth on location between now and next Tuesday. Like we don't have to finalize everything like next Tuesday night. But let's start working towards identifying who all's going to recruit for this, location, and guest speakers for and I'll put some of that in this thread when we get off the phone, and guest speakers for the morning portion. And we can circle back next Tuesday to finalize everything. And actually, I'll put together like a little flyer, and we can move forward from there. How does that sound?
Good.
All right. You guys have any questions for me?
As far as venue, are you thinking like a small hotel room, ballroom thing? Okay.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, I don't know, like, again, Dawn Turner is out on this. I'm not going to bug her about it. And, you know, she was going to be one that was doing a lot of recruiting. It depends on really how many folks you think your team and Stacy's team, and then the Raleigh folks like Beth Hill Jones. If Dawn Wilson can't come, but I'm expecting her to be recruiting folks. You know, Lorena and Blady live here in Charlotte, and they may ultimately recruit some folks to drive up to Greensboro that day. But I'm not anticipating a huge group. I think this is just as much for just showing up and having some one-on-one leadership training with you guys and your teams as it is for while we're there. Let's have an opportunity presentation. That's why I'm saying it's not, I don't envision this being this like huge rah-rah Super Saturday with a ton of prospects that we're trying to recruit in. But I do want to utilize some time, since I'm going to be there, we're all going to be together, to have an opportunity event, almost like an in-home event, except at a hotel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Super casual. I'll bring the Isogenics banner, like the tablecloth. I'll bring a 30-day system. That's the other thing we can talk about next Tuesday. It's just a couple products we can kind of raffle off in the morning, like bars, e-shots, like, you know, to get the audience, people there involved, that kind of thing. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. So let's circle back next Tuesday. And I think we've got some action items. I'm going to post a lot of this in the thread right now when we get off the phone, just to get some insight from the rest of the group.
Okay.
All right. Well, hey, where are you on getting a director, girlfriend?
Still got 4.
Yeah.
And like I said, I talked to the young girl today, and I think her and her dad are going to jump on tomorrow night.
Okay.
And then still got 3 halves. Courtney's working on it. Reagan, she's what does she do? She's
a lawyer.
She just graduated from law school, and she works for like the NC Supreme Court or something. So she doesn't have a lot of free time. But I went ahead and told her, I was like, hey, go ahead and get the consultant. I'll give you 50 extra bucks. And she's like, oh, you're so sweet. I'm working on it. And I was like, okay.
Well, yeah, and just to get your products paid for, you know, if you can get to consult, we can get you to cycle a little bit, and you won't have to pay for your products as much.
Well, and I've told her that 50 billion times.
I know. I've got a friend that's a lawyer. I actually had lunch with her today, and she's like, I'm all in. I'm going to do this business. She's been researching it for like 6 months and listening to the calls, and hasn't enrolled a single person except for her husband. I'm like, girl, like, you've got analysis paralysis. You need to just stop trying to figure it out. It's not law school. It's not rocket science. Open your mouth. Talk.
Yeah. And Reagan has this ginormous network of people, because when she was going through treatment, people were like, she had a blog, and so people were friending her like out the butt.
Yeah.
People didn't even know. Her dad's a preacher, so she knows everybody in our church.
Oh, she'd be huge.
Mm-hmm. All she has to do is post it on Facebook.
She posted a before after, or like just a testimony? Girl. She could be your Sadie Cox. Sadie Cox on my team did a before after, and I got 3 executives out of it. Sadie's not really in the business, but Melva enrolled. She was a friend from high school. She went executive. Christine Manukin, she went to grad school with. Christine went executive. And then Tammy Fry was enrolled by Melva. All because my girl with a big network opened her mouth on social media. Got to figure out a way to get her to make a
picture.
Yeah.
Take a picture. Yeah.
Be huge. You can follow all her likes and comments, and if she don't follow up, you can follow up for her, all right. All right. So we've got some action items. I'm gonna jump off, and I'll put some stuff in text, in Messenger, and we'll circle back next week.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. All right. We'll talk soon.
All right. See you.
All right. Bye-bye.